Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. All right, we are, I'm live now. My internet went down. I had to switch over to the hotspot. So it is what it is. Yeah, it was just a little, I guess, a little music that I listen to every now and then. So how's everybody doing? Happy Tuesday. Let's dive into it. So first things first, let's dive into the calendar and go from there. So far so good. Last week was actually a pretty really good week. Can we go to 1080p like prior? It's not 1080p. What's it in? It should be in 1080p. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on, it's showing me at 720p right now, but it is what it is. I'm streaming from my yeah, unfortunately I'm streaming from my hotspot. So it's the best that I'm going to get. I'll upload it in 1080p because I'm recording it. At least hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, I'm recording it. So I'll upload it. So the upload will be in 1080p. But this is I think this is the best that it's going to be. I had some time last weekend, so yeah, I worked on that intro. That's gonna be the Tuesday stream. Yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. All right, cool. So let's yeah. So it's 720 is the best it's gonna do. I'm streaming this from my hotspot. So, I mean, if it's I guess yeah, if it's doing it in some crappy you can't see it, then just watch the recording on it. So we'll dive into it. Let's start with the calendar, right? So really, and this is what I was kind of looking at. You know what? Hold on. I had to reset like all my cash and everything like that. I don't know if you guys, so long story short, there is a ton, right? There is, oh, where is it? Where's calendar? There is a ton of websites that have gotten hacked over the last couple of days. A lot of my mining sites that I mined to got hacked. Is it an issue because of weather, man? No, it's actually pretty damn clear out right now. I don't know. This is just, dude, I don't know. It's my internet provider, man. They go down for whatever reason they go down. So yeah, it's completely down. I'm streaming it on my iPhone's hotspot. So hopefully it keeps up. Yeah, it is what it is, man. Nothing I could do about it. Yeah, so this week we've had some websites get hacked. If you guys haven't been watching that IPC bot that I've been doing, they got hacked. So that's why there's been all kinds of issues. Some of my mining software got hacked, and I don't know if you guys trade for TPT, but if you notice, your passwords got reset. So there's only one reason why that happens. So yeah, there's been a couple of things that have been hacked, and that's also why if you're trying to get on a couple of sites that their ISP protocol isn't updated, you're depending on who you're using. Like my ISP has been pretty much not allowing me to get on some of these like mining sites and stuff like that. So I've had to use a VPN to bypass it. Your internet rates with my dude, for sure. My internet sucks, man. I ain't gonna lie. My internet sucks. It is just horrible. Nothing I can, I mean, I don't have an option. Like I've even tried looking at like the satellite internet, and dude, I kid you not, there was a while, what was it? I think it was like maybe a couple of weeks ago where my internet went down in the heart of New York session, and I ended up having to drive because I don't know, it was like we were having like a really bad storm or something like that, and my hotspot just kept dropping. I ended up driving down the street to Starbucks with my laptop, just I can go trade from my laptop at Starbucks. That's how bad it was. So yeah, it sucks, man. Anyway, let's dive into it. So a couple of things. The first and foremost, right? Calendar, really the only thing that I really got my eyes on, NFP, right? Friday's NFP is what I'm really going to be looking at. And if price, obviously I'm going to be continuing what I'm you know, pretty much it's this, right? I'm looking for a US dollar strength to continue. Obviously, I'm hoping we get a pullback this week and switch my internet to what? What would you like me to switch my to internet? There's really, I can't even use Comcast, man. That's how bad and I'm not even saying like the area I'm in is bad. There's just no other providers. I wish my option is this AT&T dial up. Or I can go with stupid Blue Stream. Hopefully they're listening. Stupid Blue Stream is who I have. It's just garbage, man. But anyway, so I'm looking for dollar strength, right? Looking for dollar strength, and I'm looking for continuation buys on everything JPY. I mean, that is pretty much what I've set on for the last 3 weeks. I've been looking to buy everything this, and I've been looking to buy the dollar. So, and it's actually been playing out pretty good. What state? I'm in the good old state of Florida, man. Good old state of Florida. Yep. Yeah. Anyway, so let's dive into it. So yeah, this is all I'm really paying attention to, is that right there. Nothing else is really going to move the market this week. All right. Diving into some of the charts. So we'll do that. Well, let's give a look-see here. We'll talk about some crypto as well, because I mean, yeah, I talked about it last week, talked about it the week before. You know, we were talking, and even this, man, this thing's been on fire from the entries we took last week on this. This thing's up over 100%. So I'm happy with what crypto's doing. And yeah, BTC, I said 46K was the mark for me. I wanted to see us get above 46K. And I was saying last week that we were just looking bullish. And yeah, we got it. So now, obviously now I'm looking to see if we can get back in this area right here. I want to see how long it's going to take us to get back into like that 38,000 to 41.5 range to just have this continue up. Right. So I'm pretty happy with what it's doing. You're preparing to sell NASDAQ soon? Yeah, so am I, man. So am I. Absolutely. And I think if we can get a little higher, I think that's where I want to go. I can't get well, that's what I'm using. That's essentially what I'm using. It's Verizon 5G. Yep. But it's off the Wi-Fi, you know, or it's off the cell signal. That's the problem. I can't get fiber. My only fiber optic I have is the internet provider that I have. They have a monopoly. So there's a city ordinance that only allows them to operate. Comcast, AT&T, they can't operate within our city limit. So trust me, I've tried. I'm actually contemplating moving, just selling the house and moving to a different location for better internet. Yeah. So anyway, the crypto side, yeah, we're doing pretty nice. If you haven't looked, comp has just been on a tear. Really, I mean, super clean, just accumulations, mitigating in, reaccumulation, and yeah, we're getting some really good signs on the crypto side. You know, Ethereum following suit with BTC. You know, we've really seen some really good pumps. And yeah, unfortunately, this thing never came down to where I wanted it to come, to that 2000 mark, but whatever, it is what it is. You know, I mean, just look at your market cycle. You know, essentially you have now just taken out the first layer of supply in this redistribution, right? So because we've taken out that redistro, we've accumulated, we've come back to mitigate. You know, this was an attempt at a distribution with a creek. So I'd be looking to see if Ethereum could get back into like that $2,600-$2,700 range, and then make its next, you know, ascension up. So I think we're going to get, you know, I mean, obviously I think we've priced in the bottom, you know, especially with BTC. I think we've priced in the bottom. I don't think you're going to see BTC stroll anywhere below this 34,750 mark, you know, just following your market cycle. I mean, accumulation, reaccumulation into your distro, right back into another accumulation, reaccumulation, and so forth, you know. So, you know, ideally, like I said, I think this is what's going to pretty much happen on the next go around. Yeah. So crypto definitely looking bullish. My mining farm is really happy about it. My staking protocols are really happy about it. And, I'm just going to continue to stockpile some of these cryptos. All right. The one thing I will talk about is if you guys haven't taken a look at Kadena, I would probably, if you're looking for a good crypto to invest in, I would do that. I would pay, just Google Kadena, start looking at some of the protocols. They're extremely large in the web 3.0, and they've signed a partnership with Flux. And if you guys know how bullish I am on Flux, you'll know that this partnership with Kadena is going to be massive. So just getting to an all-time high where we were in November, it's about a 300% increase from where we're currently sitting, right? And I've definitely got future plans for this. I mean, Kadena potentially is with you. If you look at the tokenomics on it and market cap, you're looking at about $100 coin here very soon. What's my thoughts on my Forex fund? I have no clue. I've never used them, so couldn't tell you. I've never used my Forex funds. Yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on on crypto. For those of you in Solana, back in the middle of March, got in on Solana around the $79, $80 range. Currently doing really nice, about 40% up. Nothing compared to what the original buy that we caught at 1100% from down here at like the $28 mark. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with what Solana's doing. And yeah, this for me, my blue chips, obviously I'm not going to be investing in BTC anymore, right? For me, it's not worth it. Ethereum, I'll just keep mining Ethereum until it goes POS. But my big draws right now are Matic, which is Polygon, right? Polkadot, Solana. These are the big ones that I'm looking at. Kadena, KDA, Flux, and then Avalanche, right? These are the big ones. These are the big blue chips that I'm looking at right here. So, and I've got a pretty good stash of them already. I'm just going to continue to build upon that. Yep, Polkadot looks extremely good. I think we're getting into alt season. I think as soon as BTC really gets its move on it, I think that's where we're starting. What do I think of Shiba? Absolutely nothing. I think I own maybe like $400 worth of Shiba left. So if you can tell me what is Shiba, give me a use for Shiba. Give me a reason for Shiba to continue to go north. Yeah. I do like Chainlink. I think there are other projects that are going to overtake Chainlink. So that's my only issue with Chainlink. So I own a pretty good percentage of my portfolio is Chainlink. But like I said, I think you're going to see other projects overtake it. And I mean, it's still a good, if you're looking to diversify your portfolio, I think it's a great asset to own. But I think you've got other key things in place that you can probably dive into that'll give you, like for me, I would rather start, I'll give you this one here, Luna, right? I would rather, and I've been buying Luna, I missed the boat on Luna way down here. But I have been, I bought Luna here in September. I bought it again in end of November, bought it again last month. And, listen, just continue to play the bullish market, right? So we just made a new high and you can see I've got an alert here because I've got, I've got buy limits set, pretty much all in here to cost dollar average it. So Luna, I'd rather be putting money into Luna here than in Chainlink personally. So, yep. I like Matic. Absolutely. Oh man, I've been buying the crap out of Matic. So yeah, Matic, my last buy on Matic was May 23rd at 77 cents. So, and you can see pretty much, you could see this, right? I mean, we've broken this. This is that last piece. Now, I personally don't think we're going to come any lower. I think this is the accumulation that has formed. What I'm going to be looking for is I'm just going to kind of be waiting for this break. And then as we pull back, I'll start to buy some more. But yeah, I've been buying Matic since I think it was when it first came out. I think my average price on Matic with this 77 cent, my average price I think is like just over 50 cents. So what method do you find to be the cheapest way to withdraw from TPT, PayPal or crypto or Bancor? So I do PayPal. I'm looking like 4.5. So yeah, I do PayPal. They make you pay the fee because they're calling it a goods and service, but I just write that fee off at the end of the year on my taxes anyway. Yeah. Yeah. So I just chalk it up to a bank fee. That's how I write it. Now the crypto side of it, I'll tell you this, I haven't switched over to the crypto. But I'll tell you right now that it's what I'm waiting on is I'm waiting for them to start to open up in deposits some more cryptos, right? One of the main reasons I didn't want to get the crypto transaction right away is obviously we were in a pullback, and I wanted to make sure before I start taking crypto like payouts that we're in a bullish market, especially like, because right now, like some of these transactions, some of these prop firms and stuff like that pay out, they're still using like ERC20 tokens, right? They're doing it in Tether on ERC20, which is eating up some of your profits in fees. So that's the one kind of thing I'm just waiting on. So I have no idea because I've never used my Forex funds. Yeah, I have no idea. Can I look at Apple? Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I haven't looked at stocks in probably 8-9 months. There's nothing. I'm not day trading stocks anymore. Yeah. What about Apple? I mean, if you're not in anywhere from like down here, for me, it's not a worthy investment at all. Yeah, it's not a worthy investment at all. It's just, think about it. Like, all right, so let's say you caught this reaccumulation here out of this, you're sitting up 20%, right? That's it, 20%. I'd rather, me personally, I'm not day trading the stocks anymore. It's not worth it. So, yeah, but that's the problem. USDT, but right now they're only doing it ERC20. Like if they can move it to like Binance Chain, or if they can move it to like Tron Network, where it's a $3.50 fee, I'm all about that, but when you're paying, what was it? I think I did a USDT transfer the other day, and it was like a $47, it was like a $47 gas fee. So yeah. Anyway, so crypto side, 100%. I'm pretty happy with what the cryptos are doing. I'm pretty happy. I'm really, really happy on some of the projects that I've kind of slowly started cost dollar average in on, and kind of go with that. What's your opinion on Strongblock? I own a Strongblock node, and I am not personally going to be looking to buy any more Strongblock. So that's my take on it. I've gotten my investment out, but yeah, I don't think we're going to see. I don't think we're going to see a huge appreciation on Strongblock. I'm pretty convinced that this thing is done. Yeah, I'm pretty convinced this thing. I think this was the pump right here. I think this was the pump. So, I mean, we may for the meantime, like just sit right in this block here, but until I see a reason for this thing to skyrocket, right? Until I see a reason for this to happen, I'm personally not going to be buying any more strong. Yeah, it's for me, it's imagine all these poor people that bought in here at $650, $600. You know, I looked out, I got in right at the beginning or the end of summer, somewhere in here. I got in around like $200, something like that. But I mean, I listen, as soon as we hit $1,000, I started selling what I was making off the node. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, if this thing goes to zero, I still have made money. Yeah. But that's how, can you show NASDAQ chart? I want to see the levels you're considering for shorts. It's 80% of the distro. That's pretty much where I'm looking. 80% of the distro is where I'm looking. Yeah. So that's where I'm looking. But yeah, Juan, I'll tell you right now, if they can get the crypto payouts on a different network for Tether, I'm golden. But other than that, yeah, I just write off at the end of the year on my taxes, I write off the fees, the PayPal fee that I have to pay. So yeah. All right, so let's dive into it. First things first, right? Dollar index, and I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing on the dollar index. All right. Obviously, I'm still massively bullish on this thing. And, you know, I'm kind of looking to see if this distribution right here, you can see I just boxed it out, right? I want to see if this distribution can come back down into here. All right. This is where I want to see dollar kind of come into to make our next high. And, you know, I'm going to be looking for that pullback. Hopefully we get it this week. You know, hopefully that can give me some kind of reason to start getting the pullbacks on these dollar crosses. And if it doesn't, you know, what I'm going to be looking for is, does this reaccumulate, right? I don't know, because I've never back tested it in synthetics. So I have no clue. Couldn't tell you. I mean, I'll tell you right now, there's not much in market cycle when you look at here. We'll just look at, let's go to, let's see. Let's go to, hold on. Give me a sec. What'd you say, 75? Yeah, we'll look at that one. What's the ticker for? Give me a ticker for it. Yeah, because there's so many in here. Give me the ticker for it. Let me look at it. But I've never back tested it. I mean, back tested it. If you back test, I mean, this is just the standard VIX. And I mean, on the VIX, I mean, there's not much in the way of tremendous market cycle. So yeah. When looking for 3 drives, how do you determine if the drive is valid? Look to see, what does the drive do? Yeah. Global recession is upon us? I think so. 100%. Absolutely. I think it is. Absolutely. I think we're slowly creeping on a recession. That's what all these interest hikes are going to be trying to thwart. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, this right here, no, I can't trade. I can't trade the way I trade on this. Absolutely not. Because for me, this is all just, this is like, I'll tell you right now, for me, this is how the market measures emotion. That's pretty much it. So yeah. But going back to how to validate if the 3 drives are valid, you just got to look to see, what did that drive do, right? What did that price action do? You got to look to see how it actually kind of reacted from it. So anyway, going back to dollar index, right? What I'm looking for is that pullback, right? At this point, we're kind of at a crossroads. We're either going to show some reaccumulation. Now we have no weakness, right? We have a low, a lower high, and a lower high, right? We have no weakness in the dollar yet. So I'm kind of just going with the assumption that we're either going to reaccumulate, or this distribution is going to get us back into a more discounted area for the dollar to get bought at. All right. So with that, looking at EU, we actually took some really good buys on EU as a hedge, right? Most of you guys know that I'm just holding sells. Listen, I'm holding sells from like September still on EU. So last week when EU came in, actually presented some really nice clean price action for us. And, looking at what price did, right, this was a decent hedge. So, you've got your accumulation down here. You end up just super clean market cycles, right? Distribution into a redistribution, into an accumulation, into our reaccumulation, into another reaccumulation that makes a high. So we know that we are pretty much, we're stuck in, we're in this leg right now. So if I measure out this move, you could see that this is the 80%. And when price pops in, I don't know if you guys can see this, but when price comes into that 80%, that's where I'm going to start looking for price, right? That's where I'm going to start looking for my position. What is going on with JPY crosses? What's the reason for them to skyrocket? Because the yen is just depreciating. Yeah, we saw signs that the yen was depreciating back in January, right? I've been bullish on everything against the yen since early January. And some of these pairs we've seen really move like over 1,000 pips. Yep, that's exactly the point, right? Dollar's bullish and the yen is bearish, and that's why the yen futures is just appreciating, right? If you invert UJ, that's your yen. That's exactly what the yen futures are, or what the yen index is. Yeah. Send me the just how to do it on YouTube is just take this last part right here, just copy that and drop it in the notes there, or in the chat, and I'll pull them up. But yeah, so we obviously this is where I'm looking, right? I'm looking in specifically like this area right here for me to get into a buy. Yeah, listen, it was super clean. We ended up catching a really nice buy on EU. Not much more you can ask. I mean, this was pretty textbook, right? We had the accumulation, right? Accumulation happens during Asian session, right? So here's your accumulation. You have ultimately Frankfurt session, and well, this is actually Frankfurt session right here, because the gray is not with the time change yet. So we get Frankfurt price action that sweeps the Asian low. So once we sweep the Asian low, this is my spring right here. And once we break this was the BOS that I needed. So obviously I woke up, we were probably around here. So it was pretty easy for me to see this. And you could see it's a New York Open entry. I mean, it's about an hour and 11 minutes past New York Open that this comes in, triggers right off the 80% of our move. Could I have, maybe reduced my stop loss to maybe this drive? Because realistically, this could have been right here. This could have been my STB, and then this my spring. Absolutely. Right. I didn't want to miss this trade because I was trying to shave off 1 pip, right? I'm already at a 4.3 pip stop loss. I was pretty happy with that. I was content. So we come in, gets triggered, and you can see as soon as this breaks, I just reduce my risk and let this sucker just take off. So we really got a really, really nice reaction. And one of the things I'll kind of bring up, you could see I've got this arrow. And the reason I have that arrow is because if you measure, right, if you come over here and let's go to DXY, right, always use the cheat code. If you got the cheat code, use it. So you come over here, and if we go, let's just go 5 minute. And I'll make this bigger. So here's the area, right? Here's the area where we're looking, and you can see the divergence, right? You could see the divergence going on with this. So dollar index, right? Dollar index was the laggard. EU was the leader. Use it, right? Use it to your advantage. And if I come over here, hold on, let me line that up. Bam. If I come over here, you could see where that divergence is, right? Because this, if you hold on right there, let me do this. Bam. So you could see where we had divergence. This makes a lower high where dollar index makes the lower low, which means that dollar index is the laggard, right? Dollar index is the laggard. So taking the chance with EU as the leader, all right, no worries. I'm not going to trade dollar index. And of course, you could see the reason I did take this as the leader is because we also had divergence on the RSI, right? We could see that we're making lower low here, but we're making a higher highs and lower highs on the oscillator here. So using that divergence, both relative strength and comparable strength, really gave me the confidence to take this EU setup. And then, of course, once we reaccumulated here, right? Once we reaccumulated here during London session and took off, that was it. This thing was gone. So very, very clean. When do you know to go to break even? When do I know to go to break even? When price action tells me to. So in this case here, I didn't go to break even until probably about right here is where I went to break even on this. I was at reduced risk all the way through here, right? As soon as we did get up here though, I just paid myself the risk on the trade. So I paid myself whatever I risked. So if I risked $100, I paid myself $100 here. If I risked $1,000, I paid myself the $1,000 there. Why have you been bullish on US dollar and bearish on JPY? Is it a fundamental reason? No, it's a technical reason. I'm just looking at the chart. Yeah, fundamentally, I have no idea why the dollar is so strong. Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. I mean, I would honestly, fundamentally, I would think it would be the complete opposite. But technically, the charts are telling me that dollar is bullish. It's been bullish. And the yen, I mean, yeah, just jump over on the yen. Look at the yen and you'll see, I mean, once we broke, right? Once we broke, hold on. Let me go over to the, I think it's the daily. Yeah, right here. So once we broke this right here, which happened at the end of the year, right? October, November. Once we broke that was it. This was done. You know, once we broke that low, my complete understanding was, all right, we're potentially going to come down to here, which, you know, we do this month, and look at this drop. So, you know, where is the yen going? I mean, listen, I mean, it's, if you don't think for 1 second we're going to come here and we're going to take this low, you got to look at this chart and ask yourself, why not? You know, absolutely, this low is going to get taken. So yeah. So anyway, on EU, you know, pretty simple, pretty, you know, pretty garden variety, schematic to play. You know, we end up, you know, what was it, like a 1 to 42. So, you know, we ended up getting a 1 to 42. I've obviously secured a little over 50% of my profits on it. And now, you know, the whole reason is because we're hedging this, right? We're looking, you know, I've been saying, I've been waiting for us to come up here for me to take the sell out of that. Might as well hedge it up because I'm holding sells as I can. Right. And this is, you know, we're about 250 pips away from it. So I'll continue to look for the buy and, you know, just pay attention. Well, what have we done so far? Right. And we now have a new reaccumulation, right? I thought I just marked this out too. We have a new, right there. We have a new reaccumulation because we break that high. So out of this reaccumulation, you know, we have a creek, and we also have a type 1 schematic in the bottom end of this reaccumulation, this being our spring. So my next play on dollar, right, or on euro dollar is going to be for us to now come and mitigate this area right here. This is my buy area right here. This is my buy area. This is where I'm going to be sitting and waiting for us to get another entry. All right. And then I'm going to continue to take this higher, right? I'm going to continue to take this higher. I do like, specifically, I really like this area right here. That's where I want to see us come in, because that's the last point that is unmitigated, right? Yeah, we do have a reaccumulation here that we could also play in. So that's why my alert is sitting here, because as we come into this price action, that's where I'm going to be studying it like a hawk, waiting for my entry. All right. Let's see. Everything versus JPY. I can't even find a continuation. Ah, yes, you got to play the continuation. My advice, and I hate to give this advice, but my advice is get on the lower time frames. That's really the only way I've been able to really position it. Well, you need to put on log for you to see what I'm seeing. Say what? So click on LOG at the bottom before you open the charts. No, just just send me the screenshot. Just screenshot the chart, man. Yeah, just screenshot the chart. Yeah, so EU, that's what I'm waiting on, right? This is the area I'm waiting for us to come down to do this. Okay. That's ultimately what I want to see. All right. And you know, long term, right? Or not long term, but I guess the more recent term where I'm going to be looking for my sell, this is ideally the main area. All right. I can tell you right now, that's where I have my limit order off that 80%. I've got a limit order set on that. And if we do come into this redistribution, this is where I'm going to start really paying attention to see if I can get a distribution on it. If it doesn't, then no big deal. But that's where I got my limit order. What would be the best time of day to look for continuation plays on JPY pairs? So, I mean, I only trade New York sessions. So yeah, I mean, New York, the first, I would say like, hold on one sec. All right. Yeah, I would say that I'm finding my entries on them between 6 a.m. and like 9:30 a.m. Eastern is where I'm getting my plays on them. You keep missing entries when price comes into PR. I always wait for a micro schematic and never find it. Well, like, I mean, were you looking on EU here? Because I mean, you didn't need a micro schematic. I mean, you already had a schematic, right? I mean, you had this. So when you're looking at it, right, this right here is your test, right? This is your spring. So you had your schematic and you had your BOS, right? That's honestly like, you don't need to wait. I mean, it's great to wait, but I'll tell you right now, like, just back test the last 3 weeks of price action. We're not getting tremendous amount of opportunities. Like you literally just need to, you know, pull the trigger and jump into it. So yeah, that was EU. So EU last week, really good entry. We'll talk, since it's right here, we'll talk about USHEF, right? So I was looking for buys on USHEF, and you know, kind of what we were looking at, obviously, listen, USHEF, we're bullish, right? We're bullish as can be on USHEF. And one of the things I was looking at, so I took a small loss and I took a break even. Where's it at? Let me go 5 minute here. So we were looking at this. Where is it? Right here. Oh, 1 second. Hold on. Look at Aave. Ooh, boy. Look at Aave, 33%. Give me 1 sec, guys. Hold on. Second. All right. So going back over here, yeah. Just post that last, this right here. Look, just come over here and just copy that last part of it, and I'll take a look at it. Yeah. There we go. All right. So anyway, USHEF, right? USHEF. I was looking for some buys, right? I was looking for some buys because we broke order flow here, right? This was our boof. And, we come into the 50% during New York, gives a type 1, we get some good entries. And then ultimately this thing just breaks us even. We were looking at it here as well, right? Because you had a really clean schematic. Misses getting filled, obviously we see it take away. So I was done with that trade. Once we trade below this though, right? This is all just done, right? You can pretty much, when this happens, you can ideally just come over here, right? And you can take this whole price action and you can just like make it disappear because it's no longer applicable, right? It doesn't matter what happened in here. All right. So what I was looking at was now I've got to look over and see, okay, what leg are we in? And this is the leg we're in, right? This is where we're at. And realistically, this is what I wanted us to come into. So I was pretty, a little bent out of shape that I never got the opportunity to come in and play this entry right over here. I had this marked out. I don't know if I can go lower time frame. This was, oh yeah, this is March 10th. Yeah, hold on. All right, there we go. So if you can't see it, I mean, this is a type 1 schematic, right? So you've got your climax to your rally, to your test, to your upthrust action, to your test in B, right? And then you get your spring, right? The spring that sweeps liquidity. So obviously this is what I was looking at, but then you had your micro, right? I mean, you could see just clean micro type 1 that's what I wanted to play off of. So it did suck that price did not give me that entry, right? It did suck that price did not give me my entry because here she is, right? There's that 1580 that I had my orders on. And as soon as TradingView I don't know what TradingView is doing. Oh boy. All right, here. While we're waiting for this load, I'll open your charts, bro. Hold on. Let's see. All right, so let's see. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, bro. Dogecoin, I'm not doing anything with Dogecoin. I have no reason to invest in Dogecoin, and I have absolutely no reason to be involved anymore in SHIB. Yeah, these mean nothing to me, man. Yeah, like I said, give me a use for SHIB and give me a use for Dogecoin. There's like for me, it's done. The pump and dump was done. I bought SHIB. Let's see. I got Shiba where do we buy Shiba at? We bought Shiba. Where did we buy Shiba? What is going on with TradingView? Yeah. So here we go. So I bought Shiba. Where did we buy Shiba? We bought it down here. We bought it down here out of this massive accumulation. We bought it here, right here. And yeah, listen, I saw we got the 1200% out of it and that was it. This is done. Personally, I'm no longer buying any of this. And you look over at Dogecoin, I mean, there's no reason for me to get involved in Dogecoin. There's absolutely no reason. This is, yeah, no, there's nothing for me to get involved in this. This is done. I mean, yeah, this is done for me. You'd rather invest in Blockbuster. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing. There's absolutely nothing. I mean, again, I invest in a crypto because of its usefulness, right? And because of its forward thinking progress that potentially will create investors to come in. There's no technical reason to get into Dogecoin or Shiba Inu for me. right? I mean, that's just how I'm not, it's one thing if you're going to invest $100 in it, but I'm not putting $100,000 into any of that, So yeah. I mean, I don't know what you want to do with it, but good luck with it. Yeah. I mean, there's just no use for Shiba. I mean, just look at it from a market cap perspective. Shiba Inu what was it at? I think it was at number 9, right? It was at number 9, and Dogecoin, I think, was at like number 8 not too long ago. And look, this has dropped now to number 12. You've got way, let's see. Hold on. You've got way better. There we go. You've got way better assets: Luna, Solana, Avalanche, Polkadot. You're going to see, and look, this was in the top 10, and now it's, it's done. I personally have no reason to get involved in these, and you're going to start to see these market caps start to dwindle, I think, because investors are just going to pull out. I mean, think about the last pump on Dogecoin, right? The last pump was May 2021. So yeah, you're just trying to compare pump and dumps. So just look for the accumulation, man. That's all you got to do. Just look for the accumulation. And it's pretty easy when you get a coin that absolutely has nothing to do. So I personally don't invest in pump and dumps, man. That's just way too risky for me, for my investment taste. So yeah. All right. No worries, man. All good. All right. Anyway, so US dollar, Swiss franc, right? What I kind of, again, going back into it, like what I wanted to see was I wanted to see us get back in to, where is she? There he goes. I wanted us to come in to that area where I wanted to buy from. And this thing came close, right? This thing came close. It came in, let's go 1 minute. It came in, what are we talking here? We're talking from that 50% of that micro. She came in 1.7 pips, 1.7 pips. So when do I wait for a micro schematic? When the risk to reward isn't worth me waiting for just the mitigation play. So if my risk to reward based off of where I'm targeting isn't going to give me, a substantial, or at least a minimum of a 1 to 10, then I have to wait for a better entry, or if I don't know where exactly I'm going to take my entry from, if I can't pinpoint exactly where, that's when I'm going to wait for the micro. So in this case here, right, on US dollar Swiss franc, I had these limits set, right? I had these limits set. You can bet I had that limit set when I went to bed. When I went to bed, it was probably around this time right here. So you could see 1, 2, 3 drives. All I needed was the old Frankfurt sweep. If Frankfurt would come down here and taken it, I'd be a happy man. But we didn't get that, right? We didn't see price do that. Instead, what we got, right? We got a schematic, right? During Asian session, we get price to break the high. So now I need to wait for another schematic because I'm not taking a limit order out of the yellow snow, right? I'm not going to take a limit order out of there. So fast forward to what we do coming into New York Open, right? You could see, essentially we have a distribution, we have a redistribution, and then what do we get? Then we get an accumulation, right? Just follow your market cycle. We get an accumulation. Here is your accumulation. You have a climax, a test in B, right? And then we get our spring. So when we get our spring, I was ready to pull the trigger if we would have traded above here, which we never do. And instead, what do? We come in, we mitigate, and then we make a new high. So once we mitigated that, I was 100% ready to take this limit right here off that 80. And you could see it misses me by, what are we talking here? Misses me by half of a pip. So once that happens, we make a new high right here. Well, I mean, third time's the charm, right? I tried once, I tried twice, third time's the charm. I finally got filled on the 80% of that. And this was about a 1.7 pip stop. from there, this thing just skyrocketed. Now how I was going to play this, you could see this is as a reaccumulation, right? Because we had the accumulation, we have the distro, we have our creek. You have a creek here. Once we do this, right? Once we jump our creek and we make this high right here, I was ready to play out of this. I wanted to see price do that, which unfortunately we never got. All right, we never got that. Mike, you could have seen the drives prior as a type 1 as well. You're talking about where? Which one? Are you talking about this? Oh, you talking about this right here? That is a type 1. Yeah, I did see that as a type 1. This was the spring. Is that what you're talking about? Oh, wait. You're talking about this? Talking about that? What's the difference between a reaccumulation versus an accumulation? Reaccumulations and redistributions are continuation moves. So follow your market cycle. Like, the tops of your market cycles, you can only have distributions. The bottoms of your market cycle can only have accumulations, right? What happens in the middle, your continuation moves. So if you have an accumulation here, right? When you come to this and it starts to distribute, right? When it fails to distribute and makes a new high, this is your reaccumulation. It's your continuation move, right? You can't have a reaccumulation at the bottom of a market cycle. So this is a reaccumulation, right? Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. You could have seen this as an accumulation. Yeah, I agree. Yes, 100%. It looks like, does it come to 50% of it? Hold on. I think it does. Yeah, it does. Comes to 50. So, I mean, you would have been at reduced risk on that. Yeah. I personally wouldn't have been awake for that at 4:18 in the morning though. There ain't no way. So there's a rhyme to my reason. There's a reason I don't wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to trade London, man. So yeah. And once I saw this was golden, right? This was gold. Actually, wait a minute. DR, bro, you're the one that even sent me this chart and said, "Hey, look at you, chef." And I took it. I think you're the one that sent me the chart. I think we were right here, right? I'm almost positive. Like we were right here when you sent me the chart and you're like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And I'm almost positive. I said, "I like it. I'm going to wait for the new high." And as soon as we got this new high, that's where I jumped into it. Yeah. I gotcha. Dude, I'm almost positive it was you that sent me the chart. Yeah. You would have been rewarded for not giving up. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So anyway, so this actually played out pretty damn nicely, man. I mean, just following this thing, a couple questions on EG. Yeah. We'll do EG next because I'm pretty damn happy with what EG's doing. So, but yeah, we look at, so let's just follow this along, right? I mean, there was just nothing else, this thing just skyrocketed. You could see I was kind of looking at this reaccumulation for another entry. She never gave it. And then ultimately, what do? We made a new high, right? I mean, you could see we ended up making a new high. This is where I ended up taking some risk off. But where this thing ended up going at its highest, this was a one, was it 1 to 68? A 1 to 68, so right now, like where we're at, hold on, let me hide these drawings so it makes it a little easier to see. So I don't know if you guys can see this, right? But from an order flow perspective, right, we were here, right? We were here. Now we're in a bullish market, but order flow was bearish until we broke, right? So now we're here. So this was one of the first areas I was looking at to see, all right, can we get something out of there? And at this point, this is the accumulation, right? This is the accumulation that I want us to come into. So I want to see price come back into this where I'm going to now take this higher. And I will probably, like 90% sure, I'm going to wait for a schematic down there and not set a limit. Yeah. Yeah. You waited, bro. You waited. Can't wait. You can't wait. It was golden. Yeah, it was a good trade. I was happy with it. So yeah, I mean, I was looking to see if we're going to do anything here. It obviously gave me nothing. So now, right, like what I'm personally going to be waiting for, and I haven't decided yet if I'm going to throw a limit on it. But what I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking for this right here, right? This is what I want to see us come back to mitigate. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to put a limit in there. If it is a limit, it's not a full risk limit, right? Because I mean, this is still just order flow. So if it's going to be a limit, it's going to be low risk limit. And if I decide just throwing an alert and just waiting for price to give me something there, that's probably what I'll end up doing. All right. So yeah, US dollar Swiss franc, like I said, to its highest peak. Now I'm still holding it, but I didn't cash out at 1 to 68. I took partials. Once we broke that high, I secured some more partials Friday afternoon. But this was, again, my entry came in at 8:40 in the morning, Eastern time, New York session. So, if for me, it's more conducive for me to trade that time. I like to sleep in. I like to wake up for New York market and trade it. And you'll see that all the trades that I took last week were all New York entries. I mean, I do get up early Thursdays and Fridays just to make sure I'm ready for these trades, but yeah, it is what it is. We'll do EG. I'll just kind of go through real quick. So CAJ was the other one. Now CAJ, again, textbook, right? It's these JPYs play the continuation move, right? Play the continuation move. And hold on. There we go. So here was the continuation move, right? This was it Thursday? I think this was Thursday or Wednesday. I don't remember exactly which one this was. But what do we have? We have New York session, right? You could see we reaccumulate, we come up, there's your creek, your distribution. We have New York session that creates the accumulation of orders, and then we make a new high. So for me, this was textbook, right? All I did was I measured out my shakeout. So what is my shakeout? My shakeout is this right here, right? You have your distribution, you have your one drive, your two drives, there's your creek, right? So I measured out this. You could see the 80% is sitting right here. And what do we have? We have a complex pullback, right? Price is just coming here and doing this complex pullback. Had we come here and made this high, then I would have deleted the order, right? The order would no longer be valid for me. But we come in, we tap right into the 80%. It was, granted, this wasn't the tightest entry. It was 7 pips, right? It was a 7 pip stop loss. And I mean, there's no reason not to be reduced risk. I mean, probably somewhere around like here is where I end up reducing my risk, because I mean, we got the reaction that I wanted to see. Again, this was, I want to say it was Wednesday. I think the 23rd was Wednesday. This was Wednesday, New York session. Entry comes in at 8:20 in the morning. And yeah, I mean, at its highest, this thing was a 1 to 64. So, you could kind of see I had an alert here because I wanted to see, because we're in this leg, I wanted to see us kind of come in here and accumulate here. But I'm happy with the the partials that I've secured. I'm happy with the entry. You know, it gave no reason not to take the trade. All right. So that was CAJ. The other one that the other one that was a little bit of a pain, because I ended up getting stopped out on this lower entry, but this one here on NJ, same thing like CAJ, right? You could see the distribution happening. We reaccumulate, right? So measuring your entire move, this is 80%, right? So you could see we come right into the 80% right down here. All right. This was a 6.6 pip stop, right? 6.6 pip stop. And just look at what she did coming in, right? This is where I try to play the accumulation down here. Actually get, what was it? I think we got stopped out by like actually I got stopped out right on the freaking stop loss, which was like 2 pipettes, which I was pretty ticked off about. And then I was going to play out of this accumulation right here for a 2.8 pip stop, but we never came back. So, but off the 80%, I mean, this was a 6.6 pip stop. And, you know, at its peak, this thing ends up going for a 1 to 48, right? Now, the bigger trades that I'm personally happy with, and I didn't even see these, I'm still holding these 3 from down here. So this came up to 86.96. Geez, man, these things are through the moon right here. So these trades right here, remember, like I covered these last week. The first one I missed, right? We were on a Zoom call, and, you know, like I don't know why I was so adamant about taking the 80. I should have taken the 50, but I missed this trade, right? I missed it, and it should have been, so at 86.98 where price went up to, right? This will be at a 1 to 145. Now the entry that we did catch last week, right? This 86.98 at its highest, this is sitting at a 1 to 155. The other entry here that was the larger stop loss, this thing is at a 1 to 54. And then this really tight one that came out of the reaccumulation, this thing is actually pretty well. I mean, this is the one that I don't have a significant amount of volume left on it, because I think I'm down to like 70. I think I took like 70% off total, but this is at a 1 to 199. So, you know, these are really clean. Obviously, we never came back to this, but I'm still waiting. I'm still holding hope that maybe one day for some reason it'd come into that. But yeah, I mean, listen, JPYs have been beautiful. I mean, play the current continuation move. You know, for me, it's pretty simple. Right after London opens, look to see when does price reaccumulate, you know, and if it gives you a reason to take the entry. So right now, like NJ, right, we've broken order flow, right? We've broken order flow. This was the break, boom. So now the only way that I'm getting into an NJ buy, right, is either we need to break order flow to the upside, and if we do, this is where I'm playing, or we need to come back down into structure. So that's how I'm going to play it. Did you keep setting limits on the 80s of every reaccumulation until you got triggered? Yeah. I mean, pretty much that's, I looked at, you know, we had UJ, right? We had UJ here that missed us. Where was it? Right over here. UJ missed me. This came into the 50, right? I had it off the 80. AJ was another one. You know, AJ, this stupid thing, man. AJ, we were here on AJ. Off of this one, you could see I had it set here. We just never got, actually it came right to my stupid alert. Chef JPY was another one. Chef JPY, we were waiting on, where is it? We were waiting, I don't even know where. Oh, we were waiting down here, right? This is where it was at last week. Just never got it. Never came back in. So, I mean, yeah, JPY crosses, we were just playing the continuation move, right? I've been, like I said, I've been bullish on this, and just look at these things. I mean, there's no sign of weakness, right? You know, obviously I'd love to buy from some more discounted pricing, but you know, we're talking, I mean, geez, what are we talking? So from when I started to look for the buys, because I was looking for the buys out of this move right here, right? This was the 80% of our shakeout. So from the buys, this thing has gone you know, what are we talking here? We're talking, geez, almost 1,200 pips, you know? So yeah. What do you mean by reducing risk? Moving my stop loss to the bottom of that wick. So instead of me losing $100, maybe I lose $22 if it hits my stop loss, right? That's what I mean by reduce my risk. Bring my stop loss up to the bottom of that wick to save some equity. What gives me the confidence to take trades off the smaller time frame accumulations? Isn't it just order flow? I see the 1 minute break of order flow all the time and will end up getting taken out. So I guess the question is, where are you seeing that 1 minute break of order flow? You know, so for me, I have a very clear criteria that I look for, right? It has to be, in order for me to get to that 1 minute time frame, it's got to be in a point of interest. You know, like if you look at every one of my entries, they're not just in random places, right? They're based off of not so much in a reaccumulation, because a reaccumulation, I'm just playing the mitigation of the shakeout. But when I'm looking at, you know, lower time frame entry, it has to be, for me to get from a 30 minute, a 1 hour, a 4 hour chart to down to the 1 minute, to the 15 second, to the 1 second. For me to get down to those timeframes, it has to be in a point of interest. If it's not in a point of interest, then I'm not even concerned with it. So go back and look at the trades that you're looking at and ask yourself, like, is that a valid point of interest for me to look for that 1 minute? And then it's just not the break of order flow. It's, do we have a verified and valid schematic? And if we do, that meets all the criteria that I'm looking for in that schematic, right? If I get a 3 drive minimum with a UTAD or a spring that breaks structure within the schematic, I'm taking the trade. And what gives me the confidence to do that is, like, I don't know, going on 4 years of journal entries right now, that tells me I have a 40 to 50% winning percentage taking those entries. And out of that 40-50% winning percentage, I have an average of like a 1 to, I don't know, like 27 R to R on it. So, you know, there is a very, very good likelihood that if this trade does allow me to reduce my risk or go break even, that it will give me a really, really high risk to reward. And that's honestly what matters. And, you know, the confidence comes, you know, a little from experience, because I've been doing this for, you know, over 4 years now. But that journal is what gives me the confidence, because I know, you know, my journal's telling me take that trade. You know, my journal tells me that, you know, I'm extremely profitable on a Thursday, Friday, you know, with a type 1 schematic in a valid point of interest. So I got to take that. I got to take those probability odds. How do you manage the volume of your orders? The volume of my orders? You mean the lot sizes on my MT4 does not let me work with the volume. What do you mean it doesn't let you? You should be able to change your lot sizes. You should be able to work with that. Absolutely. Do I close positions when order flow breaks? No, I take partials, but I don't close positions. Yeah. I don't take partial. I'm sorry. I don't close the position. Yeah. My positions, I will never completely close a position personally. I'll just let price break it even. Yeah. Yeah. Cause if I would close positions, right. And this is just going back to like back testing, right? So had I closed this position when we broke this order flow here, I would have missed out on, what is that? I would have missed out, what was that, 1,200 pips? Hold on. I would have missed out on 1,144 pips on my Chef JPY buy. So I don't even know what this is at. Hold on. What did this reach up to? This is by far my biggest trade. Hold on. So at its peak, this thing got up to 1,600 pips. 1,600 pips. If you guys remember correctly, right? I gotta message Zach about this. I told him that I was taking Chef JPY to 134. 134 flat is where I was taking this to. And hold on, what is this at now? When this is all said and done, I'm gonna take a picture of this thing. This has got to be over a 700, 1 to 700. What is it at? Let me see. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. 1 to 1,145. I'm going to have to message that to Zach. 1 to 1,145. And I said I was taking it to 134. I'm still taking it to 134. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, 134. That's where I'm gonna start looking for my sells right here. Right here. One hour. I can go 1 hour. Yeah, right here. I've got it marked out. I've had it marked out for a very long time. This distro right here. You should be able to see this distro right here. That's the distro. Measure that out. This is where I'm going to start looking for my sell. This is where I'll start taking some more volume off of that 1 to 1,145. Why 130? Yeah, there you go. That's why 134, because of this right here. Yeah. Yep. Yep. So that's by far my best trade I've ever taken. So when it's all said and done, I think I'm going to take those screenshots, make like a big mural picture of it or something like that, and put it in the office here, because that's yeah. But this is why this is the high, right? If you look at if we look at where that is, right? That's there we go. So this was the Swiss bank meltdown back in 2015, right? So manipulation, and what do? We broke here. So this is the distro where they came in and filled those short orders. So that's potentially where we're going to see a pullback. But I'm not till we get to 134. So that's what I'm waiting on. It was 50 or 80% of the fib. This so I took it off of 50%. I took it off 50%. I took it off 50% of the 5 second. What was it from? So the entry came in September 20th, but I took it off of an entry from April 23rd that I had pending. So yeah, I took it off of 80% of the 2 hour, but it was 50% of the 5 second accumulation. Yeah. How much volume am I still holding on? So I do have, personally, this is how I traded it. I had off of the 80% of the 2 hour candle on my 200K account, right? I put $200 on this trade. So I was only going to risk $250 on this trade, right? So I put $200 on this trade, and then I put $50 on this one. So yeah, I still have both trades open. Yeah, I would say that I probably have secured, I've got, if you guys know how I trade, right? My PSC creates 4 25% trades, right? And on this order here, I have 2 trades open. So I still have 50% volume. And on this one here, I only have 1 trade, but I've taken probably like 30% of that 1 trade. So I honestly don't know the math. I mean, I know it's a pretty big number for only a $50 risk volume wise, but yeah. You know, it is what it is. Okay. So yeah, we talked about the yens, right? I mean, like I'm massively bullish on this thing, right? I'm still massively bullish on all these yens. So going over to, we'll do EG, right? We'll go over to EG. So EG, right? You know, ideally what I was looking at, you know, we're still, right? This is the redistribution right here. So this is essentially our slingshot. And it's not really even a slingshot of this leg. It's a slingshot of like the higher, like the way higher time frame that we broke that low. But this is ultimately, this distribution right here is what is maintaining my entire leg. So, you know, I've got that alert up here. If we come up into these 2 areas, that's where I'm a big seller from. Now I was looking, right? I was looking for a potential sell out of here, right? And it became even easier for me to look for the sell because when do we get, was it Thursday that I think Thursday we got into the buy. Hold on, the distribution you have marked up looks like it's still maintaining weekly structure. Why would you look for a sell out of it? You talking about from back in 2015? You talking on Chef JPY? Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about why am I looking for a sell here, because I'm going to hedge the crap out of it. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty convinced that this is where we're going to get our pull down to either come back to here or to here, right? So this is where we would distribute to come down because this is where supply came in to break this. So I'm still massively bullish on this. I don't think that this is going to be any kind of long-term sell. It's just going to give me a reason not to take any more. It's going to give me a reason to hedge into a sell and take volume off the sell instead of my buy. Yeah, that's why. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we're still, just look at it. We're still massively bullish on this thing. We're bullish. We're bullish from here, and ideally, I wanna hold those buys to get above 140, right? I want to get those buys up to the 140, but we could potentially see a reason for price to come on back down. So that's why. Yep. Yeah, no worries, no worries. What makes me think? Nothing. It could. I'd be happy if it did. Yeah, listen, I'm holding, I don't know how many orders I've got holding right now. I think I've got a total of 5 buy orders on Chef JPY. So I'd be 100%. I'm just, when you look at the chart, right? I always talk about this. I always say every chart, no matter where you're at, every chart has a buy and a sell area, right? So when we're looking for a price to give me a sell, where am I looking? I've got to come all the way over here. This is the only area that I'd be interested in looking for price to sell off from, right? Where am I looking for buys? Well, listen, I mean, realistically, if price came back into here, right, I'm a buyer. Absolutely. So I'm a seller from up here, right? I'm a buyer from here. So yeah, I mean, if it doesn't show me reason to get into the sell, I'm not going to get into the sell. Yeah. Yep. All right. So let's get back over to EG. Would you consider EG bearish even with the lower time frame BOS? See, I don't have a lower time frame BOS. For me, I'm still bearish on every time frame. Yeah, for me, I'm still bearish on every time frame. This is my lower time frame right here. That right there is my lower time frame. So all we've done is invalidate the redistribution. That's all. Yeah. So I'm still looking for sells here, right? Out of this distribution, I'm looking for sells there. And we caught, I think it was Thursday, right? Thursday, we caught the buy. We caught this buy. And again, just super, super clean price action. Right, you could see, hold on, there we go. So we caught the buy and we have an accumulation, right? We have a climax test in B, and then a spring, right? Which breaks the high. And then what was I looking for? I was looking for, we have a reaccumulation here, right? And then we have a distribution with the creek that our manipulation is during what session, right? What's after the gray box? London session. So this was Thursday morning. And what do we get? We get a break, right? So when we get the break, yeah, all day long, I was taking it out of that 80%, right? that's ultimately how I want to play it, because what am I looking for? I'm looking for, a hedge. I want it to happen out of, we sweep London. I'm sorry, we sweep Asian during London. And then what's my entry? My entry is between 7:40 and like 8:30 in the morning, New York. So absolutely, I'm going to take that entry. So I took it off of there. There was two entries, right? There's the one off the 80%, right? There's the one off the 80% that did that, which was like a 3.0 pip stop loss. Okay. I actually got stopped out of that one because when we saw price give this reaction, I reduced my risk and then I got stopped out. So, all right, it is what it is. No big deal. But what I did do is I got back in, right? As soon as price, there we go. So as soon as price gave me, there we go. So as soon as price gave me the reaccumulation, right, we could see in our fourth drive, what do we have? We have a schematic with a spring, right? Price then, and I don't know if Jake's on here. He's probably asleep now, but we caught, comes right back into the 80%. I took it off the 50% right here with the stop loss right here at this low. So some of the guys caught the 80%. I took it the 50 because I just wanted to make sure I was in the trade, right? And yeah, this thing ends up just rocking and rolling. I mean, it is sitting at, what is she sitting at? So, and you could kind of see where I was looking to play a re-entry. We ended up, this is why I reduced my risk. So my stop loss went to right here. And you could see how price, if I would have gone to break even at the 50%, I would have been taken out. Right. And then you could see, obviously, when we reaccumulate, I wanted it, you could see I still have the alerts. I wanted price to come back in right here so I could take this higher, but we just never got it. And it was just a shame. But, today I took some more partials once we broke this high, and I took partials here at 141 pips. So it was a 1-30 from Thursday's price action. And now, I'm still waiting right here, right? This is still what I'm waiting for price to come down here. Or if we go up, I'll look for the sell from lower time frame for me. Yeah. So the redistro is now a confirm. Yeah. On a higher time frame. Yeah. Yep. Redistro is now is an accumulation on the higher time frame. So yep, absolutely. Yeah. So it's for me pretty clean. You could see I was looking for a sell out of here this morning. I did get into a sell. It just stopped me out. Where did we get in? I want to say right. Yeah, this is where I got in right here. So I got in, I had a limit order off of this 50% of the micro right here. So I got filled and you could see the reaction we got from it. So I reduced risk and then it took me out. So when it took me out, I was actually looking at it like this. And this was my line in the sand right here. This was my line in the sand. The only issue I have is it didn't give me the 3 drives with the UTAD. What it did was it gave me 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive. And so I kind of just let it go by the wayside. It had this been the 4th drive, I probably would have taken something out of here. And even if you did, like say you took it out of, let's just measure this out, right? So let's say that you take, you're saying, all right, this is my UTAD, right? And we'll say that this was another drive and this was the UTAD, right? I mean, price comes to the 50 and then gives you a new low. So it gave you the opportunity to reduce your risk. Yeah, but unfortunately I got stopped out on the sell, but whatever, I made up for it in the buy, I mean, it was super clean. But, so EG again, my sell area on EG right up here, right? I'm looking for us to come right here or right here for the sell. And if we do come back down here, I'll be looking for another buy, the hedge buy out of this to take it higher into this. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. Yep, I'll be looking for continuation plays. Yeah, I'm holding sells and I'm holding buys. So I've got the best of both worlds, right? There is no play that I can do that I'm a loser, because if I look for the buy and it stops me out, all right, whatever. I've already taken, what was this, like a 1-30? I've already taken the 1 to 30. I've already taken partials, right? I closed out half the order once we made that new high. So I'm already deep in profits on EG. So a small loss, because really like on my prop firm accounts, I'm only throwing $125 risk at these, right? So I can lose a bunch of $125 trades on EG and not really sweat about it. Okay. So that's EG. That's kind of like what I'm really just kind of focused on for EGs. I'm going to be waiting for it to come up here. So I've got the alert sitting right here at 85.16. Or if we come down here to like the 83, like 4.5 area into that reaccumulation, that's where I'm going to be paying attention to it. So I have no desire to close my sells from, I'm holding sells all from up here. I have no desire to close this buy, right? I've taken partials and now I'm just going to let the trades breathe and play out. Why is it not the lower time frame structure? Because it's a redistribution. Redistributions can't hold structure. Here's your distribution, right? This is your distribution that creates our market cycle. So for me, this is what maintains my lower time frame. Yeah. Would you consider the imbalance around 83,800? 83,800 here? 83,800 as a possible buy. 83,800. 83,800. No. Here? Talking about this right here? No. I mean, could it buy out of there? I mean, theoretically it can. But there's no reason for me to risk anything on there. I think honestly, hold on. Let me see if that swept. If that swept the Asian lows, then if it goes below that, hold on. No, it didn't. It didn't sweep it. Yeah, no. Nope. Yeah, this to me, like, I guess the question is what relevance does this have? What did it do? For me, it's when price was here, if it would have come in here, that would have been the buy. But at this point, it holds no important value for me anymore. The reason that this holds value for me, right, is because this is the last reaccumulation that causes this leg, right? So that's why this is of importance. That's really all I would play. I mean, yeah, you've got smaller little reaccumulations up here, but there's also it comes back to like your risk and your reward, right? So do I want to buy at these premium prices knowing that we've just taken that high and we're potentially going to see a pullback, so which we've already violated, I think. Yeah, we already violated the first form of order flow. So yeah, no, this isn't going to be anywhere I'm looking. It's this right here, because this is what caused this break. Yeah, for me, it comes back to cause and effect. Yeah. For me to tell the difference between a distribution and a redistro within my market cycle. Yeah, so just remember, like, if we're talking about like EG, right? If we're talking about EG, let's look at it like this. Hold on, let me see if I can get it on here we go. All right, so there's no question that this is an accumulation, right? And then if you're looking at this as the distribution, what you have to understand is, okay, so what did this distribution do? This distribution was essentially the sign of, here, hold on, let's do it like this. Wait. Maybe this will give you like an aha moment. Let me go to the 1 hour, right? And okay, so on the 1 hour, let's do it like this. Okay, so we have an accumulation, right? That accumulation, this we would label as a potential sign of strength. And when that potential sign of strength makes this low right here and breaks through our ice and causes this break, this is all one market cycle, right? This is a redistro. Redistributions and reaccumulations cannot hold structure, right? That's my rule. They cannot hold structure. I mean, if I'm sure somebody else has written something in some book, maybe they do. For me, based off of everything that I have in my house, that I have done and looked at and worked at, they do not hold structure. Okay. So when we do this, this is not structure. What structure is, right, essentially this is structure. So this is the UTAD that causes this move. All right. So when price now breaks and redistributes, it needs to come back for a pullback. What's it pulling back into to mitigate? It's not the redistribution. It is what? It is the distribution. So when we get this distribution here, even though it trades above this high, all it does is just invalidate the redistro. But what it's doing is it's coming back to mitigate this right here. So now we have a distribution that makes a new low. So once this makes a new low, this is now my lower time frame structure, because this distribution is where supply is in control from. Once we get that, now we have an accumulation. That accumulation causes a BOS, right? Within the schematic, right? Not actually structure, but within the schematic. And what would we label this? So if price was just at that point, we label this a sign of strength. And what does price do? Price distributes to work itself down. Well, what do we get? We get a break through the ice and a new low, right? Again, this does not hold structure, right? Does not hold structure. We're still here. We're still on that lower time frame point here. Okay. So when we now come over and we break this here, all we've done is just invalidate the redistribution. This distribution is still what is maintaining our structure point, right? Remember, distribution. So when you have a market cycle, and I don't remember where, and I used to have all this stuff together, like in that Wyckoff intro video I did that time, I think it's gotta be like 3 years old now. You've got your market cycle, right? So when your market in a bullish market, right, you only can have accumulations here. You can only have distros here. You can only have accumulations here. You can only have distros here, right? You can't, this is your distro. This is your distro, right? You cannot have accumulations here, right? You first have to have a distribution before you can what? Before you can make a reaccumulation. So hopefully that makes sense. That was my little reaccumulation redistro thing. All right, hold on. Let's see. How do you focus on your trades mindset and the patience for it to reach your areas without jumping in too early? So you just got to train yourself. I mean, I would say that that was an issue I had in the very beginning, was getting into trades prematurely. And, you know, I've really learned to just sit back and just wait on these trades to come to me and wait for the right confirmations. You know, that's something that I really like perfected in back testing. You know, one of the things that I always like to do is I always like to say, okay, wait a minute, you know, let's say, you know, how long, let's just say that we're looking for a buy, right? Say we're looking for a buy out of here. How long did it take from it to go and break structure to come back into the area where I'd be looking for a buy? 18 days, right? 18 days that EG would have just sat on my watch list waiting for an alert to go off, you know? So understanding, you know, how and the time frame and also the way that price is going to be moving is so key, you know, and that's something you perfect and you really develop a patience for in your back testing, you know. Wait a minute. All right. So let's see. So a new redistro distribution equals, yep. Distributions and accumulations will hold structure. Exactly. Sign a straight that breaks creates a new low. Redistro does not. Yep, exactly. A redistribution will never hold structure. Yes. Yeah, price is fractal, and there's always, I mean, just look at it. I mean, you could see a distribution, You could see a redistro, right? You could see a redistro. You can see a redistro, right? But you always got to go back to the original move, right? So at what point do you have enough to move this distribution to a new leg, right? When you have a completed market cycle, and you don't have that. So I was talking to I think Gary, this is what I was talking to Gary about today. You've got to find the medium, right? You got to find that unity between market cycle, right, and market structure. Okay. Because when you look at them, market structure is dealing with highs and lows, right? Meaningful highs and lows. Not every high and low means anything in structure, right? It's just meaningful highs and lows. And market cycle, right? Market cycle is dealing with when supply and demand, right? Otherwise known as, buyers and sellers are making moves in the market. So when you can bring those two pieces together, this is what's going to create the ultimate trade, that 1 to 1,145. You know what I mean? That's what you're trying to accomplish, or at least that's what I'm trying to accomplish. Do I get it right every time? Heck no. I mean, listen, I take a ton of losses because, you'll anticipate, right? Anticipation is the worst, but you'll anticipate certain things. And, when you go back and look at it, you'll see that, oh, right. Yeah, I definitely screw that up, So the key, or the, risk management is something that is definitely important to me. That's something that keeps me in the game because, like I said, I mean, I risk 1%. Right? 1% per day is all I will ever risk, So when I'm doing 0.125 risks on order flow plays, I can lose 16 trades in a day before I ever get to that number. So, it's a game of probability. It's a game of strengths and weaknesses. It's a game of experience and understanding, trusting yourself on what you're seeing as well. That's another thing that really drives that, that confirmation to pull the trigger on some of these trades. Are there any spots open on your mentorship? Just DM me later. Yeah, DM me later. I'll tell you right now, I'm ramping up into prime volleyball season. So my time is slowly starting to dwindle. So, all right. So anyway, EG, that's really what I'm waiting on EG here. The other one, hold on, let's see. So we talked about EG, we talked about USHIF, NJ and CADJ. Those are pretty much the setups that I caught last week. And I was pretty happy with them. Overall, again, I'm just looking for continuation plays on these yen crosses, right? You could see where we're at. This is, unfortunately, this is GJ right now. I want to see an accumulation in here for me to play out of this. And if I don't get it, then, so be it. We'll see what happens after that. There's really nothing. AU is another one, right? I was looking at AU, and I'm still looking at AU. We've got a super clean distribution that occurs here. This distribution ends up breaking structure right here in that sense. So we had a redistribution, right? We've violated the redistribution. And now what I'm going to be looking for is for price to come up here, right? Again, this is not a break of structure, right? Because this does not hold structure. This right here is holding structure within this cycle, right? This is what is respecting, or this is what created the distribution to cause that low. So I'm going to be looking, I've got this right here. I'm looking for, I've actually got a small order out of this sell. So for me, this is a type 1. I'm going to take it off of 50%. Here's your, your schematic. That's your climax. That's your test. And then this is your UTAD. So I'm taking it out of that right there. One of the key things, and I'll talk to the guys tomorrow morning there in my group. You know, one of the reasons, and I was doing this with, I think it was Gurvinder or some, just pay attention. And I know I was kind of tied up this afternoon, but pay attention to what NU was doing at the same time, you know, especially in this area right here, right? NU had already broken this high up here, you know, so NU was already giving us the sign that this was going to go a little higher, right? You can look at NU, and NU invalidated the redistribution right here, right? So when NU invalidated that this was done, and we're expecting price to come up. So, but that's pretty much what I'm looking for. For indices, for currencies. On the indices side, I really didn't get into anything today. I was kind of hoping. I took two losses. I took two losses today on indices. I was really hoping to get a couple of plays. So this is, and NASDAQ pissed me off to holy hell, man. I don't know if you guys saw this right here, but NASDAQ pissed me off to holy hell, because I was trying this play right here. I was all day long, I was trying to get out of that. But we saw price again, market cycle, right? I mean, you could see the reaccumulation. Price ends up distributing here, and you can see, you know, what happens, right? We get the break, right? We get the break, and just measuring the manipulation, price comes into the 50%, and then comes down. So I was looking to play ping pong, right? I was going to, you know, if we would have come back up, I would have taken this short to come in here to buy it, because ultimately what I wanted to do was buy, right? And we didn't get that. I mean, price ends up doing, you could see it here, like price ends up coming in, and you know, you had a small little accumulation. We had the reaccumulation. I had this ready because had we broken this high, I'm playing the continuation move. Right. And yeah, it was a shame, you know, like I never was able to work an entry into NASDAQ. I stopped looking. But I mean, just look at it. I mean, we're reaccumulating, you know, so this really got under my skin today, because I wanted that play really badly. And it never came in. It came just short. So like, if you're looking, right, what am I ultimately getting up to? Is I'm pretty confident that we're gonna take this high out here, right? And where I'm gonna be looking for a big play on NASDAQ is gonna be right out of this right here. That's gonna be the ultimate play that I'm looking at. I've got an alert up here because there is a distribution right in here. So that's what I'm gonna be looking for. So if I can get these reaccumulations, I'm going to be looking for those reaccumulation plays. And, you know, going into tomorrow, I mean, you could see we've created a new market cycle, right? We have an accumulation and we have a reaccumulation. So, you know, whether or not we play out of this right here, or we play out of this right here, you know, those are the two spots I'm really going to be looking for buys tomorrow. Moving over to SPX. Same kind of price action, you know. Now, did anybody catch SPX this morning off the 80%? Because so, you know, and I'm all about, listen, I'm not one of those like Instagram warriors. So I say this morning to everybody in the group, we're on the New York Zoom call. I said, hey, I'm going to play NASDAQ, right? And those of you guys that were on the call this morning, right? You can back me up on this. I said, I'm going to play the continuation play on NASDAQ, and I'm going to play on US 30, right? So I had this set up right here off of NASDAQ because it was the cleanest. I said, all right, you know, it looks like the cleanest. So I had a limit order on NASDAQ. I don't get triggered. I had a limit order on US 30, right? I got stopped out. I get stopped out on US 30. I did not put a limit order on SPX, and SPX is the one that ends up flipping, taking off, creating a new high, right? You can see we make a new high, and this entry right here. So I didn't get filled on NASDAQ, and I got, wait, what did I do? There we go. I didn't get filled on NASDAQ, and this ends up going for There we go. This ends up going for a 1 to 26. So yeah, that was a little kick in the butt. I was pretty pissed. That almost cost another monitor because yeah, it sucked. And then you can kind of see I was just looking for a reason to get back into continuation with this, right? So we saw a reaccumulation here, it comes in at 50%, made a new high. I was trying to catch in here off that 50%. It just never gave me the confirmation to take the entry. You know, I was watching it. I was playing off the 1 second on it. And like you could see just how we were reaccumulating. And we had a perfect schematic. You could see right here, right? We had a perfect schematic. We just never broke, you know? So I was waiting 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive, right? Here's my spring. And I was waiting for the break. We never break. We get another one. I was like, all right, if we break this, I'll take it. We never break. So I was never able to position myself in SPX. You know, it sucks, but it is what it is. And, you know, from where it stands right now, again, I'm looking for short-term buys to get up into the area where I really want to sell this off from. But my key area now is, since we've made a new leg, right? Since we made a new leg, this is our new leg. This is the area of reaccumulation that causes that. So are we going to come into potentially this, or are we going to come in here tomorrow? And that's what I'll ultimately be waiting for. But yeah, I was pretty pissed because I took the loss on US 30. I didn't get filled on NASDAQ, and SPX is the one that played out. And it's the one that I said, oh, I'm not going to look at SPX because of this price action right here. Like, you know, U30 gave the sweep, right? U30 sweeps that low. NASDAQ swept the low. SPX was the one that didn't. So yeah, dude, did you get into SPX there or no? I'm hoping somebody got into that 80% because I saw the alert go off. I had an alert right around like here. I saw the alert that said SPX nearby area, but I was like, all right, whatever. I'll take U30, and U30 just swept it for me. Yeah. Yeah. It was a bummer. It was a bummer. All right. Bear with me. There we go. Yeah. So, but that's ultimately what I'm looking for on indices tomorrow, right? I'm going to be continuing, and you could see where we're at. This is why I feel like why NASDAQ is going to sweep, because we've already taken this, right? We've caused that boof, right? So now where am I looking to come into? You know, this is the leg that I want us to come into. This is the redistribution that causes the break, right? So this area here is my SC. This distribution right here, you could see this is a type 1, right? I will have a limit order off of that, right? That is going to be a limit order. So this is the extreme of our leg. All right. If that makes, you know, sense, because this is your distro, right? And then you have in your UTAD, right? In your UTAD, we have a type 1 right here. So this is what's controlling this whole thing. So we come up here into this area here. I will play a schematic, but I really want to see if we can come up into that. And then U30 is the same exact price action, right? Now SPX has a cleaner, but you know, pretty solid, right? Pretty similar in how I'm going to try to attack this. And you can already see, just looking at it from a 4-hour, you could see that is a massive reaccumulation. So if we pull back into this accumulation, or if we pull back into the extreme of this leg, I'll be buying it to take it higher, right? So I have a buy and a sell area on all 3 of them. Yeah, I mean, you could see just pretty clean price action out of this. And that's what I want to say that's what I was waiting on this morning as well, to see if we can get a pullback in there. We just never did. So I'd rather play out of what price action gave. What you had an appointment to deal with today, but going to guess I would have had that's funny, bro. That's funny. Yeah, it is what it is, you know. But so that's pretty much everything I'm looking at, right? You know, how we traded it. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm looking to see the dollar's going to drive everything, right? So depending, especially with an NFP week, you know, I would hope that price starts to give us a little bit of a pullback so that I can position to some longer term holds. But yeah, for the most part, continuation on the JPY crosses is what I'm looking for. Dollar strength. If EU and GU can get up into my sell areas, I'm most definitely going to be looking to pull the trigger on the sells from up there. And then hedging those positions, right? For me, that's the main reason why I like to hold my positions open and just partial out of volume, is because I can now take, these hedge positions and not have to worry about getting stopped out, because if I get stopped out, I just make up for it in the buy or sell that I'm already holding. But yeah, so, as far as like the Forex side, that's kind of going to keep me pretty busy for this week. And like I said, this, U30, this has, well, I've already got it marked out, but yeah, this is where I'm waiting right here. And we'll see if we get it. And then of course, if we make a new high, right? If we end up going and making a new high up here, then, this particularly right here is going to have my attention. So, and then on the crypto side, absolutely, crypto side, we're getting some great movements. I've had now my third, I did that Flux node video. I've gone now my third payout on 2 of my nodes, and my third payout is coming. I think I'm like ranked like number 62 or something like that. So 62 times 2 minutes, so probably in the next 2 hours is when I'm going to get that next payout. I'm also, for any of you guys that watch that video and have a Flux node, I'm going to be doing a video. There's no rush, because the Flux fee that you have to pay for parallel assets, you're better off just waiting. I'm personally going to be doing it every 6 months, but I'm going to show you how to claim your Flux parallel assets. So just know that every time you get a block reward and you get your Flux tokens, you're also accruing parallel assets. So you're accruing, Flux in Ethereum, Flux in Solana, Flux in Tron, Flux in Cadena, right? Right now, I think there's 7 or 8 parallel assets that you're accruing in Flux. So it's a nice little 10% bump, but the problem is you have to pay a Flux, like a gas fee, to claim them. So you're better off just waiting a couple of block rewards before you do that. In the Aporia Discord, but you mentioned another group for your morning trades. Yeah. I run a small little mentorship group. So yeah. Yeah. And that's pretty much everything I'm doing. The mining side is going really well, where mining rewards are doing pretty nice. Right now, for those of you guys that are doing like some mining, I'm still mining Ethereum, but I really have started ramping up some of my Ergo, Ravencoin, and of course Flux. Flux is always going to be there. Flux, most of my 3000 series cards are going to be moved over to Flux once Ethereum goes proof of stake, and Ergo is right behind it. I mean, Ergo is giving some really good rewards. So yep, GPU mining is doing good. I got that. I put that video of my mining tent to really reduce the heat in my garage, and it's been fantastic. And then just some of the staking. So some of the nodes, if you guys have been doing like the Vapor nodes and the Polar nodes, still pretty good consistent profits. I've already taken out my initial investment in it. I've made those rewards and I've cashed out, swapped it for AVAX. So everything now is risk-free, and I'm just collecting what, VPND, what Polar. I did get, I'm still running my Strongblock, getting that, still running my Thor nodes. I know I posted in the Discord there about Thor nodes, and then the Horde nodes did that. I'm trying to think. The one I am waiting, and I'm going to do a video on, is the lava nodes. But I'll be honest, I'm starting to lose faith in it, because they were supposed to release it beginning of March, and now we're at the end of March. So that tells me that there's issues with their code or with something that they're doing. So, and then the bot, the trading bot, don't know if you guys have seen, but there was a hack. if you guys are in my, so those of you guys that did sign up for the bot and aren't in my Discord, right? I have in my personal Discord, I have an IPC chat part. Just message me with your IPC number and I'll send you an invite to my personal Discord. So that way it's just easier for me to pass information and stuff. But yeah, there was a little bit of a hack, and that's why a lot of things happened. Right now for US residents, until their until their ISP protocols are updated, they're not allowed to add US clients. So if you're in it, great. If you're not, you're going to have to wait. But yeah, where is it? Let me see. Where is it? Here's the bot. So it ended up giving me 25.82% in the month from February 24th to March 25th. So a little shy of the 35% that it was claiming, but whatever. I mean, I'm still happy with it. And the new bot, because it's running a new bot right now, it took its first trade yesterday, and I think it gave, I don't know, for some of you guys that are in there, I think it gave like 3%. So I've got to create a new FX book for the new bot that it's running. So if you're not a US resident, check out the video. You could sign up under the link and then just send me a screenshot. I'll add you to the Discord. And if you are a US resident, you're just going to have to wait. They're, whatever. I'm not going to give they said 2 weeks, but I feel like I'm Jason Statham on was that movie with Brad Pitt? 2 minutes Turkish, 2 minutes for the hot dogs. So yeah, it's ridiculous. But the cost, just message me. Yeah, message me. And I'm not a big fan of promoting it because I don't want to get out of control. So you're looking for a node to get into, but most of them require a large amount of capital. What's your definition of a large amount of capital? Because the VPND, when I did the Vapor nodes video, I want to say to buy one node was $32. So where is it? Let's see. Yeah, it was it was like $32 to get in. So yeah, this video I did right here. So it was it was $32 to buy one node, and it was giving you a 1% ROI a day. So yeah, right now, I mean, there's nothing on my radar like today to get into. I will say that Thor nodes, if you're interested, here's the thing with Thor nodes, right? And I've got a couple of them that I've had for a very long time. I've had them since like, I want to say October. They've cut the rewards in half. And that's for me, I'm risk-free. So I can care less what happens to it. The big one I was waiting on was lava nodes, so yeah, if I come across, and this is stuff I do in my downtime, if I come across another node that I feel is worth my investment, I'll drop a video on my channel. So yeah. Yeah. And the problem with nodes is this: you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared for the loss, because there are so many rug pulls out there. It's one of those where you invest in 10 node projects and hope 2 of them are profitable. And those 2 are really what kind of give you that ROI. I've had a couple of projects that luckily I decided not to invest in that turned out to be rug pulls. So yeah, I would, if like I said, right now there's nothing on my radar, but if there's something that does come up, I'll drop it on my YouTube channel. But that's pretty much everything I'm looking at. If there's any other questions, hit me up now. If not, I'm going to go see what the wife's doing, probably watch a little movie and get ready for tomorrow. Yeah, so it's been fun. Hopefully you guys, hopefully I was able to answer some questions. Hopefully you guys that were having some issues got a little clarity on how I see it. Again, don't take my word for it. Go back and back test it. You know, I don't consider myself like a scholar of trading by no means. Everything I do is like of my own, you know, interpretation, what I've learned over the years, what I've been taught, and, you know, what I have found works and what doesn't work. So yeah, you know, absolutely. Well, with that being said, thanks for hopping on. I will catch everybody later. If you have any questions, hit me up in Discord or on Instagram. And yeah, I'll try to answer it as quick as I can. So thanks for hopping on, and I will catch everybody later.